Give me the top 3 exercises beginners should do for calisthenics. If they want to get into it, what would be good?
Top 3 exercises for me. The first exercise would be pull-ups on the gymnastic rings.
Pull-ups on gymnastics rings. Why? Why the gymnastics rings? It's a good one, but I'm curious as to what.
From my training experience, you get so much more from the instability of the rings,
right?
Moving around and things like that, and you will adapt more quicker.
You're trying to get those
you
mobilising muscles to kick in.
That's it. The ones that you wouldn't normally be able to touch or work on if you're working on a straight bar or things like that. So I always found that the gymnastic rings was the go-to exercise if you're looking to get stronger or get more confident in that skill or position. Yeah.
What would be the second one?
The second one for me would be broad jumps.
What's a broad jump?
So broad jumps when you're standing, and then you would leap forward with the knees bending and landing with both feet planted on the floor.
Sounds more core than...
Yeah, but a plyometric type movement there.
Right.
Yeah, one of my go-tos. For
the
core and
the first one didn't seem that beginner. It seemed more... you would...
They could be regressed for a beginner. You
right.
could get resistance bands and stuff there, and it may take a week or two for you to get that first body weight pull up. It may take a couple of months, but one of the exercises I would go to if you even struggle with pull-ups would be get a band in and do a couple sets of gymnastic ring pull-ups. It's humbling, and you will feel it for sure. It'll probably take you about 3-4 minutes to burn yourself out.
What about the third one? Was the broad jump sounds like, it's good for a beginner.
Yeah.
Straightforward enough.
Yep.
You could probably get the hang of it in a reasonable amount of time. Like with the rings, I thought you're probably going to be more of a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
The third one?
Push-ups. They can be done anywhere, and you can learn so much from that, and it can enhance.
Any particular type of push-up that's more aligned with calisthenics, or is it just the movement?
Just pushing up. Yeah, just doing any type push-up I feel would be beneficial to get better at calisthenics.
What's the 3 biggest misconceptions about calisthenics? It can be an exercise, it can be something that's overhyped, it can be you need to do this and it's just not true. Like what's the things that someone comes to you with that they will say this and you're like, it's not really like that. So it might be if I can do a muscle up, I can do anything. Or it might be you need to be somebody that can do like X, Y, Z in the gym before you can start calisthenics. Or it could be you need to have an athletic background to like something like that. So some misconception that you hear regularly.
I think having the athletic background one would be one. I don't quite think you need an athletic background to start training your body or calisthenics.
So you can be a total beginner and start calisthenics.
Yeah, definitely.
Which makes sense. I mean, when I think of it, I get why people may think that, but I think you're moving your body.
Yeah.
So like as long as you've got a body and you want to move it, you can be a total beginner.
Yeah.
And you can start, because I think the biggest thing that people get in the way of themselves is they don't start.
Yeah.
So don't get in the way, just begin.
That's it.
And then you'll figure it out as you go.
Yeah. I think another pre-misconception for me would be when you see someone doing one of these crazy looking exercises, there's always something that's tougher. There's always something that's more challenging than what you've just seen. I've noticed that doing calisthenics. It's like, oh wow, that's the toughest move in the world.
Like what? Give me an example of one.
Planche comes to mind. Planche is the one where the person's hands would be on the floor and their torso and legs is out horizontally, and it's up like floating off the floor. So
for people that can't visualise that, it sounds like someone's doing a push-up, instead of pushing their chest up, they've pushed their whole body off the floor.
Yeah.
So their hands are the only contact point on the floor.
That position comfortably as well.
Right.
That's a planche. That's probably the pre-misconception. Everybody sees that, thinks that's the latter exercise, the last toughest exercise that you could do for the body, on the body.
Is it more balance than it is power?
Both. There's a mix. there.
It sounds like the balance is what people would get, like they would weight that wrong.
You're going to weigh up strengths and weaknesses on both of them and work out what works best for you.
So it's the third one. It's the third misconception that people have. So the first one was
You can put on muscle. You can gain muscle mass and strength from doing calisthenics.
But people don't think that.
Yeah, I see a lot of that.
Surely
yeah.
not.
Yeah, definitely.
You see anybody that does calisthenics, I mean, you're not a big guy.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things when I first seen you was I could see how sinewy and solid your body was.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like you were, like, people wouldn't look at you and go, this guy's a bodybuilder. That's not your look. You look athletically and functionally strong.
Right, yeah.
Like that lean, sinewy, just rep after rep
Yeah.
of hard work.
Yeah.
And you could tell, like, you can tell looking at your body that it was there, the power was there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessary. It wasn't like you had muscles on your ears and you were blown out of proportion. Like you were functionally strong and proportional to what you were doing.
Yeah.
And it was clear. I mean, you wouldn't like, if you imagine you didn't train, you wouldn't look the way you look.
No.
So it was obvious that looking at the way that you looked with the proportions in your physiology, you had strength training in you.
Yeah.
And you can see it.
Yeah, I think that pre-misconception may come from maybe bodybuilders or some people that may be intimidated by the likes of calisthenics or pull-ups. That may be where I'm going down that route. I feel,
right.
Yeah.
No, because I'm the exact opposite. I looking at that, like, if anything, I'm looking at people don't. The thing with anyone that's followed bodybuilding is that when you follow something, but like you've maybe followed calisthenics, you can see the slight things that aren't obvious to people.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you look at someone's physiology, you're looking at, you know, the sinews, how that muscle contracts. You're looking at their shape. You're looking at the proportions of like the bicep to the tricep to the shoulder. You can see things that aren't obvious to people. And it's like you see some, like if you looked at like yourself or Anatoly, people go, they're not big guys. But if you've been in the gym, you train, you're like, this doesn't portray the whole story, because if you see like that definition and that sinew, that only comes from reps. That's mature, earned power.
Hard work.
It doesn't look huge like the traditional, like huge wrestlers or anything. But it's got a lot of power in there. And when you've been in trained, you can see it.